Hey DIYers, Jarrett with Alarm Grid here. Today we're going to be discussing if you can update the firmware version on the Qolsys IQ Panel 2. Yes, you can update the firmware version on the Qolsys IQ Panel 2. Now, you are able to update the firmware directly from the panel itself. You do have to make sure that the system is powered up and it is connected to the local Wi-Fi. You are able to switch to network for any available updates. Plus, you are able to actually manually enter a patch tag for the specific update that you might be looking for. So, updating the firmware version on the Qolsys IQ Panel 2 is very essential so that it is allowing the system to be able to get new panel features, even new panel functions for the system. So, Qolsys does periodically release new firmware updates every now and then. So if you are a user and you have the system, you definitely want to check every now and then to see if there's new updates available. So Qolsys has released a couple of updates in the past recent months. So far it's been about 2 of them. So there's firmware updates 2.2.1 that they have released. This is basically adding the option to view camera streams or do live camera streaming from the system or from the panel itself. The second update is called 2.3.0, which this does add the option to be able to have facial recognition and partition support for the system. Now, Alarm Grid normally does post about the new updates that once we learn about them, we do let you guys know on our website so you guys can try to keep in sync with the system and know exactly what's going on. Now, if you were a user and you did want to firmware update the Qolsys IQ Panel 2, again, as I did iterate or I did mention at the beginning of this video, that you do have to make sure the panel is powered up and that it is connected to the local Wi-Fi. Now, if you don't have internet installed in the home or the business that you have the system installed in, you can try to update the system through the cellular network or the cellular communicator. Now, the only way to do this is that if you have the system monitored with a certain company, because the update does get pushed through what's called alarm.com, and the only way to do that is by having an account with alarm.com, and that is through a security dealer. So just contact your local monitoring company or the company that you're with and try to get that update pushed. Now, just to at least let you know, if you are pushing the update through the cellular connection, there are going to be some charges behind that because it is pushing it through the cellular data. So you do want to keep that in mind when you are trying to update the Qolsys IQ Panel 2. So if you were a user and you did want to update the Qolsys IQ Panel 2, you will follow these simple steps. So on the top of the menu, or the top of the main screen, you're going to tap the small gray bar, and you're going to press Settings, and then you're going to press Advanced Settings.
Enter user code.
And you're going to type in the installer code for the system. The default installer code is 1111. And then you're going to press Upgrade Software on the bottom. And you're going to see a couple of options right here. So the first option is upgrade using the network. So if you just wanted to check for new updates, you could just tap this and it's going to start looking for a new update. You are able to update Qolsys using an SD card. Now for this video, I'm not going to jump into that, but that is an option for you to be able to do that. And the third is by entering a specific patch tag for the update. Now, it is recommended to update this the system with a patch tag. Reason being is because when you're entering a patch tag for that update, you know exactly what update you're pushing to your system. So, for example, the update that I did mention earlier, which was 2.3.0, right? The patch tag for that update was IQ Panel 2.3.0. So if I were to type that in right now into patch tag, it will look for that specific update. It will look for that update 2.3.0. So to get if you're looking for a specific update for the system, you can find it through Qolsys on the Qolsys website, or you can contact your local security dealer, and they should be able to provide you the actual name of the patch tag. So once they do provide that to you, in order to be able to update the system through the patch tag, what you're going to do is you're going to tap patch tag, and it's going to bring up a keyboard and obviously the window to type it in. So if you were looking for the 2.3.0, you're just going to type in IQ Panel 2.3.0. Once you type that in, you're going to tap OK, and it'll take you back to the screen. So to actually run the update, you're going to press Upgrade Using Network. So once you tap that, it's going to go through this process. The system will reboot. It is going to take several minutes for the system to update, so do just be a little bit patient with it, and do not touch the screen when it's updating. You don't want to try to arm it, you don't want to do anything, you want to let it update. So while it's updating, you are going to get a window that does say Applying Patch, and once that is done, it's going to take you back to the main menu. So once you have confirmed that the update was successfully pushed and everything, then you're basically just going to jump in, you're going to check the different settings that should have been pushed to the panel, and just make sure everything is working correctly. And that is how you update the firmware version for the Qolsys IQ Panel 2. If you have any questions about the Qolsys IQ Panel 2 or alarm systems in general, please contact us at support@alarmgrid.com or go to our website, alarmgrid.com. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. And if you want notifications on future videos, please click the bell icon. This is Jarrett with Alarm Grid. Have yourself a great day.